This episode of Disruption Nation is sponsored by Vertical Integration Realty. Enjoy. What's up? I'm your host, Taylor Waithofer, Disruption Nation. We're back. Matt Reese is in the hot seat today. How are you doing, sir? Good to see you. Doing great. Thank you so much. His son is 6. His name is Rhett. He's in the studio today. He's got he might have a better handshake than you. Just kidding. No, but phenomenal young man. And then he's got Caleb on his team, 18, just got his real estate license. I love seeing that. Especially at a young age, because a lot of kids come out of high school or college and then they get the real estate career and kind of got to jump. And he's 18 already on his team. And with the way they're going, there's a lot of immediate growth. We're going to talk about some of his goals and expectations. But welcome to Disruption Nation, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. And so Matt is from Victoria, okay, born and raised, and made a big name for himself. So he represents Lanham, Texas, and also Vertical Integration Realty. And I got a couple more accolades. Actually, I'm going to circle back. That's going to be my first question for you. Is just breaking down Lanham, Texas, and Vertical Integration. But yeah, born and raised in Victoria. 2020 was best of the best in Victoria and Jackson County. Best of the best of
Victoria County and Jackson County Construction Company.
Construction company, absolutely. And then his buddy Ryan, he's in here too. Okay, we might give him a shout out here in a minute if you want to. But circling back. So Lanham, Texas, and Vertical Integration Realty. So he outgrew where he was, by the way. And so just hold on, because after conversations and what you're about to learn and hear about this gentleman right here, he's gonna have a huge first year. So his sights are set, north of 20 million, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if he hits it, which is obviously very impressive for first year. So yeah, please break it down. Lanham, Texas, Vertical Integration Realty. What are you working with?
Just to clarify, that's first year is the last 6 months of this year.
That's true. So,
okay,
so he's going to do it in a half a year.
Yes, sir.
He's a little competitive, just a little.
Always a little competitive with the man in the mirror.
Yeah, 100%.
Vertical Integration is a brokerage I started about a year and a half ago. I really started it so that I could train realtors to sell our lots and our developments. And it's just evolved over time. I had a construction company with 70 employees in 2020. We probably had 12, 16 subcontractors working for us around the clock, and just decided to make a jump. I moved to Houston. I started another company. Land Homes Texas is more of a marketing aspect of vertical integration. Primarily, I'm an expert in land, and that's what I want to sell. I've done 10 developments to date. I actually moved to Houston to start developing west of 99, and through business and growth and kind of realigning my purpose, just decided instead of just building the companies to do the same thing, I should just become a realtor myself.
I found that interesting in our first, couple conversations, and he just said, he's like, golly, I got the relationships and real good leads and great parts of town that are, super, high price points, and it's just, handing them off to an agent who doesn't have the relationship, doesn't know it as good as you, right? I mean, that's kind of what, pointed you to, you're like, well, okay, I'll, after everything else. 9 companies, by the way, that he started, and then, okay, let me just get my real estate license on top of all that. I work hard, and that's almost overwhelming for me. I'm like, golly. So, are you gonna, is something else sacrificing? Do you got to cut something to now be put the real estate hat on, or?
It's not really a sacrifice if it's what you want to do. So I don't really look at it like that. I'm a single dad. Outside of
respect, by the way. Okay, we both have that in common. A lot of respect in that arena. So,
outside of spending time with him, I generally work, or I really enjoy reading or podcasting and learning. And a lot of times, he's right there with me. He's traded cows when he was 6 months old and drove all across the states and hauling cattle and picking out cattle, and so he's been kind of every step of the way.
Yeah. So I told him I was jealous. I told his son Red, I was like, you kind of made me want to bring my boys because he brought it up last night, and I was like, absolutely, bring him. That'd be huge. Red, get in here real quick. So I was I walked by a minute ago. I was like, hey, can I show you something? We get a high five, man. Say hi to the people for me. So fine young gentleman. I'll give you two. Give your dad a high five. So I wanted to show him some pictures of some fish that we caught a couple weeks ago, and he's like, I'm going fishing today. Like, is that what y'all doing after this?
Yes.
You going fishing? You put a jacket on, and this guy's going to the beach and going fishing.
We're going to go video some property.
Okay.
And go fishing. We found a spot.
Yeah.
We actually found a really good spot showing property the other day.
That's cool.
So now it's his new spot. We've been there.
Yeah,
the last 2 days in a
where you
row.
went gigging whenever that was a month ago?
No, this is
It's
actually
a different spot.
just outside of Brookshire.
Okay, cool.
So.
Very good luck, young man. I hope you catch something today. Thank you for stopping by, and thank you for being patient, waiting on me and your dad to talk business. Business before pleasure, okay? But yeah, we're going fishing tomorrow, and looking forward to it. So awesome, man. All right, so got a big goal for the next 6 months, 20 million. Oh, by the way, the Harvey House downtown. This is another place that Matt spends his time counseling. Young or old men. I guess it's all ages, right? That have just come home from being incarcerated. That need a little direction.
Yes, sir. It's guys that are just getting out of jail, trying to work with them and help them establish some goals and work on their credit immediately. Been doing it for about 8 months. Really enjoy it. Just helping people set goals and see what they can put their mind to and achieve.
You told me pre-show that you built a credit counseling program, right? Do you
Yes,
want
sir.
to elaborate on that? Like, who all is that? Who all is it for? Is it for anybody? Is it anybody that needs it, or?
Well, it really started off with people that were wanting to buy land.
Okay.
And I'm really big on land. I love land. I could look at it every day, all day, drive around at 3 o'clock in the morning. On the real estate side, the background of being a developer, I worked for builders previously. I've been in construction, but helping somebody achieve the ownership of a piece of land that they get to sculpt and make their own, it's a really, really rewarding thing. That's one of the reasons I built such a complicated business structure with so many businesses involved. Hindsight now, I could have made some different moves and still help people in the same fashion. But a lot of it's first-time home buyers and not having the knowledge about land. And the way that we've developed, I actually include all the improvements into the price of the lot so that they can afford them and they're not having to buy a lot for $200,000
Okay.
and then spend $40,000 out of pocket just to get a water well, the clearing done, just to even begin getting there. So that cost threshold of having to have so much cash is why I really started the developing, is so that it was more, you could afford it, it was more easy to tie into. And then all the hard work was done. They don't have to find 6 contractors. So along the way, even now, it's something that I'm doing, even with real estate. If somebody's buying something, we've provided those services for 12 years now. So it kind of all ties in one together.
Yeah. So what was the? I mean, that does sound like a complex, web of different, services that that you're providing for the land. So I mean, if you had to go back and do it again, I guess. I mean, what do you think? I mean, because are you trying to morph more into having one thing now instead of the 9, or?
Oh, for sure. Trying
Yeah.
to condense it down. Too many irons in the fire, too many initiatives.
Yeah.
Even with the credit counseling, it's a 12-week program that I put together. I personally meet with people and sit down and give them a free consultation, and then I have a lady pick it up after I have. And even that 12 weeks is more about setting goals than anything else.
Yep.
You're wanting to buy a 5-acre piece of property, and hey, you got to start somewhere. A lot of, it's not really taught in schools, so it's just something that I've done over the years, and I really enjoy doing that. Helping somebody achieve that level of ownership, because I think it also helps you achieve a more purpose-driven life to go after things. I'm an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
I think that most people would do better if they were doing what they loved
Yeah.
working for themselves so that they reap the reward of that. I mean, there's nothing like it, is there?
No, I mean
It's not the money, it's the reward of putting your mind to something and chasing what you believe in.
I walked around working a 15, 17-hour day yesterday, and I mean, from the beginning of it to when I had to stop because I was done for the day, and I was, laughing and smiling to myself the whole time. I was like, I literally said out loud, I was like, this is crazy. Like, I have way, too much fun doing what I'm doing. So, yes, I respect that. And driving around looking at land at 3 o'clock in the morning, see, I respect it. I respect the passion for it. That's not where I get my enjoyment, but I respect it. I think it's cool. I mean, I respect that, the appreciation, and then also what you said by having 9 different companies. By the way, he's grown all 9 to $1 million businesses, which is remarkable. But they're also in the same arena, which is that's something that I think a lot of the people that we study, like Grant talks about, right? Like make sure that it's layered. If you're in one space, don't do something that's completely different, because they all feed each other. They're all important with the sale of the property of the land, right?
Right.
So even though it's 9 different ones, I mean at least they're all coinciding and feeding each other. So.
Right, and even that, some of them are construction oriented, some of them are investment and real estate oriented, and then you have the brokerage and the development companies. So they've all served the same purpose. I started out in construction and then personally was doing real estate on the side.
Yep.
And started building on it while I was developing for builders. So it just made sense. I got to learn and get paid and grow a company to provide the services that I ended up being my biggest customer.
Yeah, it doesn't get any better than that. That's awesome, man. All right, so what else are we going to talk about here? So let's talk about, you said you like podcasts and learning, and, you've self-taught yourself a lot. Do tell, because I think a lot of people struggle with the motivation. What do I need to learn? Or it's easy to get caught up in the busy work. Hell, I'm guilty of it too. I'm like, why am I doing this right now? I was like, and I'll enjoy studying more because that's fun, right? So anyway, talk about what you study or why you think it's important to to learn, and what are you excited to learn about?
Just get started. If you want to do something, it's as simple as that. Get started with a pen and pad.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you want? What is it that you enjoy? And how can you make a life out of it? And I think, that learning never stops.
No,
that's
true.
You may, and realistically, you'll run past whatever goals you set pretty easily, and then you have to continue to grow with that, and you have to continue to get that knowledge and that level of mentorship. Really, really big on podcasts. I probably listen to about 2 hours of podcasts a day. Mm-hmm. Really enjoy reading. I've probably read about 2,000 books. And if I get into something, whether it's I need to learn engineering.
Not many people can say that. I'd be willing to bet. That's impressive.
I'm kind of a nerd. I really like to read. So, even like that,
Yeah, it brought me a book, by the way. Got to check out Green Lights if you haven't. It's thank you, because I told him when I saw it. I didn't know if it was for me or if you just brought it to talk about it on the podcast. But I read it twice. I read it back to back. I finished on Audible in January, February, and immediately, like, I'll usually go to the next book. Didn't even do it. Started it over, and then I think a couple months later I checked it out for a third time. But I appreciate the hard copy so much, man. Thank you. Huge book. What is Green Lights about, by the way? We'll plug Matthew McConaughey for a second. And I'll give my 2 cents, but
I think it's kind of the same thing we're talking about. It's a self-discovery and his own evolution of being himself.
Yep.
And really cool. I like how he always took notes and he saved those.
Yeah.
So he can reflect back on his thoughts. And I think you told me that too. You write every day.
That's right. So he's got green lights when you hit a goal. Okay, like Matt was just talking about, or a checkpoint, and then it's like green light. It's like good job, keep going. You score a touchdown. Coach is like good job, green light. Like you get to start again, or whatever it is, and then thank you I appreciate that, because I write a journal to my boys almost every day, and I've gotten to a point it's morphed. I've been doing this since 2004, 6 years before my first one was born, and so he's got these little phrases and quotes called bumper stickers. Right, and now to hear you say that, I've actually been creating them for about 1.5 years now. Like I'll write a little paragraph, and then I'll take a few words out of what I just wrote, and then it'll just kind of summarize what it is. But and then look who it is. So you got an actor that's reading, so the tonality and the enthusiasm and the delivery. I don't think I've ever listened to an Audible where I laughed as much as with this one, because it's hilarious. I mean, maybe reading books aren't always funny, but that one is hilarious.
It's a cool story of how he was doing what other people wanted him to do. I mean, even him going to law school, and then he just dropped out and he became an actor. And,
became a hand model.
Yeah,
first.
And it was an up and down for a long time before he finally had his breakthrough, and then he specialized and kind of found his purpose, and he got picky about what he wanted to do and the message that he was sending with his films. So it's kind of cool how he ended up tying it into his purpose, and it wasn't just, hey, I'm an actor. So it's not a book that you'll think, it's not what you would think, right?
No, yeah, not at all. It's but I mean, it's perspective. That's life. That's the best way that that you can I think view what we have in the one shot that we got while we're here is and it's all perspective. What are you gonna focus on, man? So speaking of focus, some very intent focus. This was a real year for the both of us. We found this out at lunch a few weeks ago, and I was shocked. Tell me about 2019, man. What the hell did you do? Because this blew my mind.
2019, I was doing really well with the construction and the developing, and also in real estate. Had several companies that were doing really well. Had a bunch of employees, a bunch of people that looked up to me. A lot of mentorship, trying to help people set up businesses, and even if they work for me, I'd rather see somebody work for themselves. Mm-hmm. And I know I'm meant to do more, and I just kind of grown stagnant, and I reached a plateau. So I quit drinking for a year, and it wasn't necessarily that I had a drinking problem. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to get inside and focus. So I quit drinking for a year. I actually moved into my office for 6 months, showered at the gym right down the street. I mean,
commitment on a whole nother level.
I mean, I was putting in 20 hours days and never leaving the office.
Yeah.
So, and just in there reading and learning and starting this, and I'm recruiting people and taking on private equity and having to self-teach myself all of these things.
Yeah.
At that point too, how to even set up another investment fund that can get approved by the SEC, the pitfalls, and I mean, you just can't hire people for this.
Yeah.
Or you can, but the cost and the expertise is usually not there. You find out 3 or 4 people later. So it was just, I wanted to do something more. I'd already reached a level of success, but it was kind of, I'm a little shy on the camera, but I'm driven in a way that I want to make it an easy path to be successful. And I know that I need to reach a platform that I can have people listen to me. Me being successful at this level, and just another guy that's successful at the golf course,
right?
Well, that's great, but that's not for me. I want to make it to a point to where, hey, you listen to me because I started with nothing. I self-taught myself. I built businesses. I've been up. I've been down. I've failed. I've got back up, dusted myself off, changed some moving parts, just kept going. So,
absolutely. I mean, it's a good story, through and through. And the reason that my jaw hit the floor when I heard him say that is just because for the exact same reasons, I didn't drink for 2019. Didn't have a drinking problem. Just wanted to see what I could accomplish, what my weekends will look like. Maybe how I felt on a Saturday or Sunday, and it was great. Because you don't have the hangovers. Worked more. Worked a lot of Saturdays. Wrote a book and focused on health and studying and reading and learning and just a lot of self-development for a year, and it was crazy to hear that you did it the exact same year. So I was like, the parallels, man, are out of control. So
is that when you wrote your first book?
I think it was 2 because one came out first, but majority of it kind of blends together because I wrote the other one co-authored with a bunch of guys. And so that one got here first, but yeah, I almost don't even. I wanted that one to be my first book. I'm almost like not even excited that I have a book out, but yeah, I brought a copy for you. Rising of the Personal Brand, Amazon bestseller, and yeah, it's on Amazon.
Was that a goal that you wrote down in 2019?
Well, I write it down every morning and every night. I want to write 10 books. So I got two down, 8 to go. So got 10x, man.
Right? Now you maintained a little bit more discipline. That was one of my goals too. Had some business things come up, some setbacks in business, and moving up here and training and recruiting, and it was a lot more than I should have taken on.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have changed it. But I didn't get to write my book yet.
So I got a question for you because I think this might be able to help some people. Everybody learns from other people's failures because everybody's failing all the time, whether they want to care to admit it or it's just it is what it is. Like I have finally gotten to a place where I don't mind them, and I didn't get it. I read Failing Forward by Johnson Maxwell when I was 20, and I still didn't get it. I mean, it read good. I kind of felt good, but I was 20. It wasn't quite there yet. So say all that to say this. Whatever you're comfortable with, I mean, I can only imagine, the dozens of problems, countless, I'm sure, of failures and obstacles and just when things hit the fan. But talk about one that and kind of how you overcame it and what you did different to dissolve or break through or rise above.
One, that's hard to narrow down.
Doesn't matter. You can give me 5. I don't care.
No, but,
one probably led to 5. I mean, sometimes they don't get better. You're trying to put out the fire, and it just turns into an inferno. So.
Well, when you're in business for yourself, and
yeah,
I mean, every day there's a failure.
True.
Something.
All the time.
Something dropped. When you're responsible for everything. There's something,
Yeah.
and that you can pick at. But 2019, I had a big development that I was doing, 1,100 acres off the market property. I found it. I knew the market. I negotiated the purchase of it. It was a joint venture. Was designing the best 9-hole golf course in the nation is what I wanted to do. So I met a guy. I've told you this before. Was flying around Memorial Hermann, getting ideas to design this golf course in Inez, Texas, of all places, just outside of Victoria. And even the way to develop it, it was a method I had developed over time in a cash flowing project. So it was something I was really excited about. It was just an idea that I had driving down the road one day.
That's wild.
I looked up the property. They had kind of layers of ownership. I found it and negotiated it. I put all these things together. I'm pouring my life into this. I'm like, this is 18. I'm going to build the best 9. Yeah, this is 19. Between 18 and 19.
Okay.
I'm building the best 9-hole golf course in the nation. Having this huge development, putting myself on the map. And we were supposed to break ground in 10 days. And by the way, I stopped operating with 2 of my companies because this was such a big project.
Yeah.
So I was turning work away for 3 months.
Oof.
And let revenue go, and I was personally funding this, so it was I'm an all into this.
Yeah.
And then to find out 10 days later, he doesn't want to sell, he doesn't want to do the venture anymore. He's not doing it. They're going to keep it in the family. And then about a month later, see his plat that's identical to mine. And basically took all of our work, and that hurt. I mean, that hurt. It took a while. I had to restart 2 companies, and I mean, it was a mess. And it was kind of one of those things of like, hey, I got my teeth kicked in. I hit the ground.
Dang.
I'm having to start back. I've been bleeding. Now I need to get in tune with myself, and that was part of the reason too. Like, I know I was meant to do more than this, and this is just one shot. So, but it's not that short of an explanation when you have employees and so many moving parts.
No.
I mean, it was a nightmare for me at that time. It was probably one of the biggest setbacks.
Yeah, I think anybody reading between the lines can know there's levels to that. Knowing that you ignored for 3 months a couple different businesses. Did you say which golf course? Can we say which one it was, or we liberty to speak? We don't have to.
No, we probably shouldn't say.
Okay, fair. All right, because I was about to, and I was gonna, kind of ad lib on it, but I will not. All right. So, you sent me, a YouTube video this morning, just about the importance of, focusing on the dream, not the dollar, and and showing up. So, again, it's perspective and mindset. But anything you want to ad lib on that?
I mean, that video is it's exactly right. You have to show up. You have to show up every day. If you want something badly, you have to show up for it every day, even when you're not comfortable. I am not comfortable in this setting. If this camera was off and I was talking to a room full of investors, or I would be smooth and an expert in my field, and just now I'm a little
That's
bit
your
nervous. I was waking up every 30 minutes last night.
element.
But I showed up.
Yeah.
I showed up and put one foot in front of the other, day in and day out. And then, as long as you're working on what you want, pen and pad, writing it down and making a goal that you're walking towards, instead of just going through the motions of life, because then it just takes you whichever direction. Instead of you planning your life and working towards it, that's something that ends up being really rewarding when you get it towards a purpose. And I'm still evolving. I've done all these things and got to the point that I was starting companies and building companies, and it was more of a trophy. It was more work than it was worth. I was starting all these new companies and getting them up to this point and this dollar amount, and it meant this, or this many employees. I really got away from doing what I loved. It was helping somebody find a piece of land and turning it into a home site that will be in the family for generations. Like,
That's a big deal.
Imparted something, like,
Yeah.
I've built a lot of things. I've always been proud of everything that I've built. And just, even to take my son by and, hey, I did that. Or, hey,
Yeah.
I found that property and I made 11 home sites.
Yeah.
And 3 of the guys,
I mean, that's, yeah.
I owner financed and put in a credit counseling program and got them to where they could be able to purchase a home and, all of those things. And those are the things, like, I literally changed a family.
Yeah.
With that credit counseling and that mentor, and, those are the things that are kind of like, I got goosebumps about that. I had lost all that in the accumulation of trophies. And a lot of it was because I got away from the discipline of, what do I want and what am I going to do to get there?
Yeah.
Success can be a big downfall.
True. Yeah, it can. I've seen it happen for sure, and it happens to some good people. It's sad to see it happen, but I think that a lot of people know the importance of getting comfortable, or maybe you're not even comfortable, but just doing the things that make you uncomfortable, because then it's going to get you closer to what you're trying to accomplish. And it's really not more complicated than that, but it's one of those things. It's easier said than done. It just is, because who doesn't like to just be comfortable, and but I don't know. How bad do you want to grow, right? And it boils right back down to that. And if you got a burning desire, which Matt obviously does with what he's built, and I'm excited, brother. I am, to watch you rise like the phoenix in the real estate industry. I mean, people don't know you're coming, but they do now. So I'm glad that you showed up on Disruption Nation today. So thank you for that. Before I get us out of here, I got a couple quick questions for you. What's you could go Victoria on me, because I know you haven't been here too long. But what's your favorite restaurant? And what do you like to eat there?
Favorite restaurant is probably Federal in Katy.
Okay.
Everything is good.
Really?
Everything's good.
give me your top 2 dishes then.
The grilled shrimp and grits in the IE.
It's hard to beat.
Tuna poke. But everything, I don't know. Have you been there?
I haven't been there.
You have to go there.
Yeah.
This guy, it's like everything, even the bathroom. It's basically, this guy had brought all his world's experiences into this restaurant, so it's all his favorite dishes.
Cool.
So the menu's all over the place.
All over the
a
place.
wide spectrum, and
that's cool.
Just the atmosphere.
Where is it? Where is it in Katy?
Right by 99 and I-10 intersection.
Gotcha.
So.
And by the way, part of our conversation, I just want to point out, I love that I've heard 1,000 times, and with realtors talking about the importance and the joy that they get of working with a consumer, or that's to help them with the most important, biggest investment of their life. But to flip that and on the land side, because I mean it is the same, but it's a big difference, and it's a huge market. It's a good space. Like when you talk at West of 99, I mean, it's just like it's just crazy how like Houston is able to do this when the rest of the country, you'll have to go up. Anyways, that's exciting. All right, what's your dream car, if you have one? I think you told me you're not a big flashy guy. Is that right? I don't.
I mean,
You a little bit? Okay.
Yeah,
What do you like? I
makes
mean, like,
sense.
I don't want the Lambo, man. That's not. I think they're cool, it's real cool, but that's just not. I don't have to have one of those.
so I totaled a S560 earlier this year.
Okay.
I'd like the S580.
All right.
And I'd never even driven a Mercedes. I'd never even been in one.
Got it.
And it was kind of like, man, I'm going to reward myself. And I got it, and absolute blow your mind.
Yeah.
It's hard to like, okay, I'm going to go to a regular vehicle.
Right.
That kind of difference. And I totaled it. And actually, I was picking Red up from school. And somebody hit me, so it wasn't on me. It wasn't anything like that.
Damn, it's still
T-boned
totaled?
me. Yes, T-boned me. It scared me. You know,
I bet.
was just working on life insurance.
Yeah.
Before that, and I was like, okay, now I need to finish this.
Yeah.
Been kind of putting it off. And I get T-boned. Yeah, I about had a meltdown because he was with me. But yeah, I'd take another, probably an S580 now. They made it a little bit more
Fair.
luxurious. So.
All right. Fair. Dream vacay.
I don't know. Right now, I'm kind of there.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, and even this is the best summer I've had, and a lot of it's perspective, and
Yeah.
hasn't been just a walk in the park the last year either.
Mm-hmm.
But
Uh,
having him, and then we're gonna get to leave here. We're gonna go put some catfish lines out and look at some real estate, and I'll still be going through the motions of working, but I'll be there with him. If we asked him, he'd probably want to go to Africa and shoot a bunch of stuff. So it'd probably be a hunting trip with him.
Got it. Very cool. I don't know, man. What's what last question? What's next? What's your big dream next? You know, whatever you want to be. You tell me.
Well, I do want to dominate the Houston real estate market. That's why I moved
He's
here.
coming. He's coming.
On all aspects. I put the cart before the horse on a lot of things, and then just figured it out in between, chasing the cart down the hill.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely want to make a name in even being a realtor now.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue developing. We'll continue providing some subdivision development consulting and stuff like that. But I really want to kind of bust down and get back to some of my own goals, like writing a book. I built the 12-week credit counseling program, and that was actually just a part of a program that I've worked on. I've lived through 2 or 3 times, but a program that if you start this program and you follow these steps, you can be a millionaire in 3 years, no matter where you start. So some of it's, getting rid of all these trophies or companies and all of these demands on time and effort and energy that have kind of taken away from my goals and my purpose. So that's really what's next.
Would you prefer, I'm just curious, to walk away from, the trophy company you're talking about, or does it excite you to have somebody run it and they just report, you still got a little say, but like you're not just over in it like the guy, there's somebody else? Which one?
I can't do that.
You couldn't just let it go totally?
No, I mean, even on the construction company, after winning best of the best, I started shutting down
Wait.
departments.
You can't do what? Which one? Because it gave you 2 options, like sell, or like you can't like let somebody run it and still be attached.
Let somebody run it. To be completely hands off, I have to tinker.
Well, that's okay. Like if they're running it, but you're still tinkering, because it's fun, right?
Yeah, but my standards are really high.
Oh damn! So yeah, you don't want them to like diminish maybe the quality of what your expectations are.
I would rather
that's a
sell
tough
it
one.
or the concept and not have my name attached past it,
I respect. That makes a lot of sense.
or just shut it down, which I did in 2020 after reaching a pinnacle. It was like, now I'm moving to Houston.
Yeah.
It was, in 19 after taking that big setback, it was like, I just need to move. I need to grow. I need to get outside of my comfort zone. I need to,
Yeah.
and I basically did that with 8 of our heads of departments and leaders in the company, and was going to set up a system to where they would get equity and, they could take the company, and it wasn't the same quality. So I've tried that,
Yeah.
and I basically ended up shutting that company down, which is a really lucrative company too.
Hey man, all the admiration and respect for you in the world. Seriously, like I mean, there's a lot of, you know, what you've said, shared, talked about, you know, what you're living for, what you're doing with your boy, and, you know, moving here because you realize, you know, that he had, you know, kind of outgrown what his growth was going to be, you know, where he was in Victoria and coming to not far, you know, down the interstate to a huge, you know, the fourth largest city in the country. And I mean, you know, we talk about, you know, we're both fans of Grant Cardone and read a couple of his books, and Be Obsessed or Be Average. He talks about, you know, it's like 88% of people die literally within a couple miles of where they were born and raised their entire life. And, you know, we live in the greatest country in the world, but, you know, there's some other, it's mind blowing, you know, for the, you know, people don't want to move and go anywhere other than just stay in the same spot, you know, forever. And like, you know, as much as I battle with that. I mean, hell, like I love where I live. I'm loving life and business right now, and I love Houston, you know, but I'm still like, you know, I think about that stat, and I'm like, well, shit, maybe I should go live somewhere else, you know, for a little while and come back. But anyways, man, Matt, Reese, ladies and gentlemen, Disruption Nation, thank you so much for coming. Check us out next time. Give us a subscribe, and until the next episode, we'll see you soon. Thanks.
Follow this guy. He's really good.